Welcome to the Final Story with Candy Gunn, a Wilson County news forum to bring finality to past news stories that took place in Wilson County. I'm John Townley with the Wilson County News, which is coming soon. If you're interested in any news stories or you have a news story that would be of interest, give us a call at 443-1656 or email us at story@thefinalstory.info. Our first story today is the rescue of over 100 dogs that took place on July 3rd, 2012. Good intentions gone bad. That's a lot of dogs. Here is a final story with Candy Gunn.
Hi, I'm Candy Gunn with the Final Story, and I'm sitting here with the director of New Leash on Life, Amy Haverstick. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Thank you very much for taking the time to do this interview. I'm doing great. So there's a story about over 100 dogs that were rescued. So
Yes.
Tell me about that story.
It's right here in Wilson County. It was down past Cedars of Lebanon State Park, down to Highway 231. It was a situation where started, I believe, with 8 dogs that over a course of almost 20 years, 18 years, kept having dogs, more dogs, grew into over 100 dogs on the property. They were living in pens, lots of different pens, basically pack animals, not socialized, not used to humans. They were being fed, so they were, not starving to death by any means, but not familiar about being pets. So these dogs had never been pets. So they're out there on the property. Wilson County Animal Control was aware of the situation and working with the woman, trying to address the situation. Needed some help. Went to Animal Rescue Corps, who has a lot of experience with this type of situations, and they came in, put together a plan to get the dogs out, worked with the Sheriff's Department, and set a date for extraction. And
So who made the phone call to report what was going on?
I'm not sure about that.
But that's how they received the information? Somebody just reported it?
Probably looking at a lot of the neighbors out there. Most of the houses in that area, there's a lot of property, to each tract. I think this particular property may have been like 7-8 acres.
So now, did you get all these dogs, or?
And no, we did not. All the animals were surrendered to the Sheriff's Department and then to Animal Rescue Corps as, I believe, their guardian. They were all taken to Wilson County Fairgrounds, and then from there placed with different partners. So here at New Leash, we could not handle 100 animals, especially of this sort. They all need, and by this sort I mean not socialized. They were not ready for adoption immediately. They're not your average ready-made pet. They need socialization. They're not leash trained. They're not familiar with treats even.
So now this has gone over a course of time. How are they now?
We took in from the 112. We took personally 12 of those particular dogs. We still have 8 of them.
Okay.
So
some of them were adopted then?
Yes,
Okay.
we have had some adopted. This is Liberty. She was known at the shelter as Smushy Face. She's sweet.
She's a very sweet dog.
She is sweet. She's still a little skittish, but she's very pettable. Not real fond of the leash, but she will walk on it.
So they're constantly being worked with then to
Yes.
re-socialize
Yes.
them. And
They are. She's real sweet. A lot of them were heartworm positive
oh wow!
from being out there, not ever having treatment.
And now, if these dogs were adopted from you and they are heartworm positive, would you be helping them with the medications? Whoever adopts.
Yes, and heartworm positive is not necessarily a death sentence for a dog. Heartworm positive is treatable. It depends on the severity of a heartworm positive dog. A lot of them are just treated with monthly treatment, just like the preventative you would give your dog normally.
So now, tell me, what happened with the individual that? Do you know any information what happened with this person that did this with these dogs?
It's my understanding that by surrendering her rights to the animals. I don't believe she may have received probation.
Okay.
She did not have any charges filed against her.
Okay.
I'm not clear what from that happened.
Amalino Dr. I, it's the movement. Amalino Dr. I, it's the movement. Amalino Dr. I, it's the movement. Amalino Dr. I, I'm hiding, I'm on fire. 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 Rappers in my city mad, praying, wishing I retired. Cause it's the movement. I told y'all, Jonesy, Jersey.
That'll be $15.50 for the pizza. You got any gold?
These days, seems like everybody is trying to buy your gold.
Hey lady, I'll give you 20 bucks for those earrings.
But not everyone will pay you top dollar. At Lebanon Jewelry and Coin Exchange, 612 South Cumberland, or always buying gold, 2975 South Rutherford Boulevard in Murfreesboro. We have been buying jewelry, coins, sterling silver, even broken jewelry for over 20 years. We will weigh your items right in front of you and pay you top dollar in cash. So bring your gold to one of these two locations. Why take your chances anywhere else? Let's face it, the economy is terrible. Here's a chance to make an extra $1,400 a month. Who couldn't use that?
Are you having a hard time seeing, climbing stairs, keeping up with your children or grandchildren? How's your memory? Are you eating right? Do your supplements work? How do you know? Our biophotonic scanner will show you your antioxidant levels. Call today for a scan. Mention this ad and it's free, no obligation. 615-598-4675.
So now, how many dogs did you say were still available here?
Here there's 8 still available. We do have one, Felix. Well, he was Felix at the emergency shelter. When we brought them in here, we gave them all freedom names. So he's Monroe, as in President Monroe, here, and he is severely heartworm positive. He will be receiving the injection treatment, which is for extremely heartworm positive dogs, and it is a very expensive treatment. It takes about a course of 2 months. It's about $700.
Oh,
so
wow.
We've had to raise a little money to get that for him.
And this is a non-profit organization.
This is a non-profit, yes. So we beg, borrow, and plead for money. But he will get that treatment. It's over a course of 2 months that they get an injection. Have to be very quiet, kept still. And then after that, he should be heartworm free.
Now, I really appreciate you taking the time to do this interview with me today. If any of you are interested in adopting any of these dogs, New Leash on Life is right here on Bador Parkway, right here in Wilson County. So, can you give me the address?
Yes, it is 507 Jim Draper Boulevard in Lebanon, Tennessee.
All right, great. Thank you very much, and we really appreciate what you're doing here. Thank you.
City Cafe East is the best kept lunch secret in Nashville. If you're starving and want real home cooked food, this is the place. Folks, this is the best meat and 3 in Nashville. Chef George prepares mouth-watering specials every day. Choose from baked chicken, pork chops, turkey and dressing, and of course, the best roast beef anywhere. The City Cafe East, the best meat and 3 in town, is open Monday through Friday, 10 to 2:30 for your convenience. City Cafe East, 1455 Lebanon Pike at Spence Lane. The way cooking should be.
If you're interested in any news stories or have a news story that would be of interest, give us a call at 443-1656 or email us story@thefinalstory.info. Our next story is a sad one. Any business that goes out of business shows the state of our economy. And Cousins Antiques is going out of business, and there's a lot of history that's going with it. Let's go to Candy's interview.
Hi, my name is Candy Gunn with The Final Story, and I'm here at Cousins Antiques in the Lebanon Square with Sterling Buster. Hi, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Great, thank you. So tell me, how long have you been in business for?
We've been here at this location almost 30 years. We've been in business total for 40 years.
That's fantastic. Now, you have your own brand of cutlery, I've heard.
Yes, we do. Fighting Rooster Cutlery was started in 1975 by my father, Frank.
Yes, and I've heard this is the Cadillac of cutlery.
That's what they used to call it.
Absolutely wonderful. Now, I have some questions.
Okay.
You have some awesome antiques here, some wonderful things. Why don't you tell me, like, where would you get some of these things from?
We used to travel quite a bit. We'd go to Belgium and throughout Europe. We'd also go to the Middle East.
That's great.
We'd bring in containers 2 or 3 times a year.
All right. And who goes through those containers?
We do.
So you pretty much know what's already in them?
At least everything here in this store, we've had to lift and move all ourselves.
Wow, that's a lot of work.
Oh, yeah.
So now I've heard you're going out of business. Why is that?
We feel at this time, especially with how the economy's been for the last couple of years, it's about the time to get out.
Yeah. Oh, that's a very unfortunate thing. I mean, you've got some very unique pieces here. So who started this business?
My father did.
Your father did?
Mm-hmm.
And what is his name?
His name was Frank.
Frank?
Frank Kenneth Buster.
Okay, and he is a resident from Lebanon?
Yes. Yeah, born and raised here in Lebanon.
And do you have any idea what made him want to get into this? Or?
Well, he had a paint store back in the 60s. It was a little gas station up 231 North. And then from there, his business just continued to grow until in the 70s he got a building out 231 South. And then it grew a little more, and then in about 82 or 83 we moved down here.
Great. So what do you want to tell me about this stock car, the Fighting Rooster stock car?
We've had quite a few stock cars over the years. Gary Moore was one of our drivers out of Nashville. And then, I can't remember who's driving them out.
So you've had 4 different drivers?
I know of at least. We've had 2 different drivers. Yeah. We've had Gary Moore and Charlie Whitfield, and then his daughter Kelsey started driving a few years ago, and she drove our car for 2 seasons, I believe, out of Nashville.
So where's the car at now?
We no longer sponsor a car. She's went on to college, so we're not sponsoring anyone right now.
Oh, great. We're going to be right back after this message.
I'm a Lino Dr. I, it's the movement. I'm a Lino Dr. I, it's the movement. I'm a Lino Dr. I, it's the movement. I'm a Lino Dr. I, I'm hot and I'm on fire. I'm a Lino Dr. I, I'm hot and I'm on fire. I'm a Lino Dr. I, I'm hot and I'm on fire. I'm a Lino Dr. I, I'm hot and I'm on fire. Rappers in my city, mad brand, wishing I retired. Cause it's the movement. I told y'all, Jonesy, Jancy.
That'll be $15.50 for the pizza. You got any gold?
These days, seems like everybody is trying to buy your gold.
Hey lady, I'll give you 20 bucks for those earrings.
But not everyone will pay you top dollar. At Lebanon Jewelry and Coin Exchange, 612 South Cumberland, we're always buying gold, 2975 South Rutherford Boulevard in Murfreesboro. We have been buying jewelry, coins, sterling silver, even broken jewelry for over 20 years. We will weigh your items right in front of you and pay you top dollar in cash. So bring your gold to one of these 2 locations. Why take your chances anywhere else?
Welcome back to The Final Story. I'm Candy Gunn, and again, we're here at Cousins Antique Store in the Lebanon Square here in Wilson County, and I'm sitting with Sterling Buster. So we were talking about the car. Now what's going to happen with the cutlery, the Fighting Rooster cutlery?
I think we're just going to move the knife company home. 95% of it's mail order anyway, where I ship to my dealers across the U.S., so there's really no sense in us having a storefront at this time.
And now the manufacturing company is out in Germany?
It is. It's located in Solingen, Germany, owned by Achem Gronauer.
Okay. Now I've heard these are a little bit pricier, but there was a comment that your father had made back in 1977, and that comment was about to make the best you have and be the best. It costs just a little bit more.
That's exactly right, and it still holds true today. Over the last few years, I haven't brought in as many knives as we used to, because you definitely have to watch the euro versus the dollar. That way, at least I am bringing in a good quality knife for the price that the customer pays.
Now, where are these knives going to be available? I mean, once you're closed, how are people going to be able to get these knives?
Well, I've still got my dealers. They can find my dealers list on the Fighting Rooster website. I've got at least over a dozen dealers in Alabama, Florida, Oklahoma, Missouri, Indiana.
Now, with all these wonderful pieces that you have here, I mean, absolutely beautiful pieces, what's going to happen to all these pieces when you close? I mean...
luckily enough, I've got an uncle up in French Lick, Indiana, who is opening a store up there. Quite a few of those pieces will go there. Some of these pieces will go home with either myself or my mother. And we'll just see some of it. We're going to hopefully sell quite a bit of it up until we close in December.
All right. And what's the oldest piece that you have?
Let's see. Oldest piece would be an Egyptian amulet. I believe it's around 500 BC.
Oh, wow. And how'd you obtain that?
That was on one of our buying trips to the Middle East.
Oh, wow. And you go to the Middle, you're traveling, you're going out, and you're,
yeah.
Wow.
We haven't went in quite a few years.
It's a lot of work. So what made you want to get into the business?
My dad beat me into it.
Oh, no.
You know,
he didn't throw you in the electric chair that you guys have here, did he?
No, luckily not. No. But, you know, I had considered going to college and all that, but he said, you know, there's no sense in going to college whenever you've got a business you can step right into after school. So that's what I did, and I just started from there.
So it's a labor of love all the way.
Okay.
Literally labor of love. So how did you obtain the electric chair?
The electric chair came from a Crime and Punishment Museum in Florida.
Oh, wow. And are those fairly expensive?
Probably so. I wasn't here whenever Dad brought it in, so that was one of his favorite pieces.
Fantastic. Well, this place is definitely going to be missed once you're done. So we'll be back after these messages. And we're back. We're here at Cuz's Antique Store in Lebanon Square here in Wilson County. I'm Candy Gunn, and I'm talking to Sterling. So we've learned a lot about these pieces here. You've got some very fabulous pieces, beautiful pieces. So why don't you tell me, out of all these pieces, which one gets your attention? Which one has your attention the most?
Well, besides this one that's sitting here between us,
yes,
one of my favorite pieces is a jade crab basket that was carved for the 1982 World's Fair in Knoxville, Tennessee. It was carved out of a solid piece of jade. It's probably 1.5 feet tall by 8 to 10 inches wide and deep.
How much is that worth?
It's been estimated around $12,000 to $15,000.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm. And now there's a lot of collectors for these types of things? I mean,
there have been in the past. Not so much anymore, but the collectors are still out there.
Okay.
Are you having a hard time seeing, climbing stairs, keeping up with your children or grandchildren? How's your memory? Are you eating right? Do your supplements work? How do you know? Our biophotonic scanner will show you your antioxidant levels. Call today for a scan. Mention this ad and it's free, no obligation. 615-598-4675.
Amalino Dr. I, it's the movement. Amalino Dr. I, it's the movement. Amalino Dr. I, it's the movement. Amalino Dr. I, I'm hot and I'm on fire. Amalino Dr. I, I'm hot and I'm on fire. Amalino Dr. I, I'm hot and I'm on fire. Amalino Dr. I, I'm hot and I'm on fire. Rappers in my city mad praying, wishing I retired. Cause it's the movement. I told y'all, Jonesy, Jensen,
So this piece that we have right here,
yes,
very, very interesting piece that we have, and it has quite a story behind it, and a lot of people have wanted to get some information from you guys about this.
Yeah.
So tell me what stations have come to ask you questions about this one.
Quite a few, anywhere from the local news, TV, to hard copy and Strange Universe. A ton of radio shows from coast to coast and Canada.
All right.
So he's well documented.
Yes, he is, and you know, I've read up a bit about this, and I know it's got to do with Lover's Lane, a young couple. So why don't you give me the whole story, just the way it goes, because this is going to be good.
Well, luckily enough, I wasn't here whenever the gentleman brought it to my father. I never got a chance to meet the man. I never was able to hear the story firsthand.
Okay.
But from what I've heard, a gentleman was coming home late one night with a lady that he wasn't supposed to be with. He hit the creature, pulled it off to the side of the road, took her home, went back, drug the creature off the side of the road, buried the body, cut the head off, and took it home. Took it to a friend of his that was a taxidermist, and they preserved the head, at least the best that they could.
So did they ever find its body? I mean,
well, I don't believe the gentleman ever told the exact location. I know they said Lover's Lane. They've said Sugar Flat. They've said Highway 231, which is quite a distance away from there. So, you know, the exact location, as far as my knowledge goes, is that it's undetermined.
Is he for sale?
We took offers on him and passed on quite a few. The best offer we had was, back in the early 90s for around $20,000. But wow. He's given us so much advertisement and notoriety that I don't think that would get it today either.
So I'm taking it that when you're done here,
he's going home.
He's going home with you.
He's going home with me. Yeah.
He's going home with you. Is there anything else you would like to say about him? I mean, does he have a name? Have you named him?
He doesn't have a name. A lot of people call him Al because Dad wasn't the best speller in the world and wrote out alien instead of alien. So, yeah, a lot of people call him Al.
All right. So, what do you think he is? I mean,
I have no idea. I really don't. A lot of people have made assumptions.
Like missing link, perhaps?
Could be. There's no telling.
And this is just, it's just very, very interesting things here. You need to come in before they close so you can come check out Al.
Yeah.
So what else do you have that you want to talk about here?
You know,
most unusual piece. How about that?
Most unusual?
Most unusual piece. Besides this guy.
Besides this guy, we've got a ton of pieces. We've got shrunken heads. We've got the electric chair. We've got one-of-a-kind pocket knives and swords. We're the largest supplier of stained glass in Middle Tennessee. I mean, at one time we had it all. So.
Are you going to miss it when it's gone?
Part of me will. But you know, there'll be quite a bit of relief and weight off my shoulders.
Yeah. All right, great.
When I need a haircut, and I need one right now, the only place I call is Brad's Barbershop. You won't be disappointed.
Hi, I'm Candy Gunn, and this is the Final Story. We're down here at Cousins Antiques here in the square in Lebanon. And I'm sitting next to William Cartmell. How are you today?
I'm pretty good. How are you doing?
I'm doing quite well. So when did you start here?
Started here about 5.5 years ago. I worked here on and off about 1.5 years before that, before Mr. Buster passed away. And after he passed, I was asked to come in full time, so I stepped in and done what I had to do.
What can you tell me about him?
Oh, he was funny. He's a very hilarious man. He very business, had a good business head on his shoulder. Funny story I remember was one day I was standing in the store, me and Mr. Buster was talking, and this man walked in and he said, "Which one of y'all is cuz?" And Mr. Frank looked at him and pointed at me and said, "There he is," and he just walked off. And the man standing there asking me a bunch of questions. I have no idea what's going on. So he was that kind of man. Yeah.
That's great. So, what memories of him do you hold dear to you?
Like I said, mainly his sense of humor. He was also a very caring person. He would help anybody out in any way he can, and he was just all in all a unique man. He was very unique.
What are you going to miss about Cuz's Antiques?
Oh, just coming here every day. I feel like I work more in a museum than I did an antique store. I always felt that way. Then all the different people that you meet from all over the country that comes through just to see the interesting things that we have here.
What traveler do you remember the most?
Oh man, I forgot where he was from. I think he was from Arizona or something. He came in a couple of years ago and he stood up in front of my desk and he just started talking to me like I've known him all my life, and I have never seen this man a day in my life. So that's about the most memorable customer I had.
Yeah. So what piece in here? I mean, there's some spectacular pieces here. So tell me, what piece do you find most interesting here?
The huge African mask at the top of the stairs.
That is the most interesting piece?
That's the most interesting piece I like.
What can you tell me about it?
Nothing really, I just like it.
That's just it.
I really don't know that much about it. I just like the piece, I always have.
The one that I find most interesting is the skull. And now, do you find yourself selling skulls very often?
I've sold 2 or 3 since I've been here, and we had one that walked off. It grew legs.
Well, that's fairly interesting. Now, it didn't happen with Al, did it?
No. No, it didn't happen.
The City Cafe East is the best kept lunch secret in Nashville. If you're starving and want real home cooked food, this is the place. Folks, this is the best meat and 3 in Nashville. Chef George prepares mouth-watering specials every day. Choose from baked chicken, pork chops, turkey and dressing, and of course, the best roast beef anywhere. The City Cafe East, the best meat and 3 in town, is open Monday through Friday, 10 to 2:30 for your convenience. City Cafe East, 1455 Lebanon Pike at Spence Lane. The way cooking should be.
What do you think about that story?
Don't know. I've heard it long before I even came to work here, so just being here just drew me a little closer to it. But everybody has their own opinion of form about it, I guess.
What is your first thought when you saw that?
Look at my brother.
Oh my goodness. Oh geez. So when are they going to be closing? Do you know?
I think our final day to the public will be December the 24th of this year.
Wow, Christmas Eve.
Yes, ma'am.
That's quite an impact.
So y'all make sure you come and get your stuff.
Yeah.
It's all gone.
And Al's going home with Sterling.
Right.
Although the skull, like I said, is very interesting. So where do you obtain these pieces from, like the skulls?
Most of the pieces was here before I got here, so I really couldn't answer that question truthfully.
Okay. So what do you think is the most expensive piece here?
Right now is Jesus, I believe, or our gates out front, one between those. Those will be our most expensive pieces. I think Jesus will run you around 21,000 somewhere in there.
Wow. That is very fascinating. We're going to miss this place. It's awesome.
I'm going to miss it as well.
Yeah.
You got to remember, I'm losing a job here.
Oh, no. That's not good. That's not good at all. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We've got history all over. All the way from antique pinup girls to some of the strangest pieces we have here is an electric chair. From carvings, from places like Africa, from India, from China. All these things are part of our history. And that's what we have here at Cuz. And now Cuz's Antiques is going to be history also. Thank you very much for watching.
Thank you, Candy. If you're interested in any news story or you have a news story that would be of interest, give us a call at 443-1656 or email us story@thefinalstory.info. If you ever miss the show, you can watch it on YouTube. Just type in The Final Story, or you can watch it on WNCT TV on Ustream. I'm John Townley. Have a great day. Always remember, stay in the light.
You can't have your phone on.
Can I call you right back? Are you okay?